friends, I just got back from the local nursery and I do believe I've got my work cut out for me. It's a beautiful day today and I've checked the weather and it looks like for the next 10 days at least the weather at night is still going to be well above freezing. So it may be time to start getting our garden plants out. Hey friends, I'm back and we are outside with the plants that I purchased today, and I thought I'd share what I got. These are some that we will be putting out in the garden and in pots and things, so I'm sure we'll be going back to get more, but this is what I picked up today, so I will show you what we're going to be planting this year. Alright, well, we'll get some of these big ones out of the way first. I love wave petunias, and these are wonderful plants to put in baskets and in pots to make instant color. And so they have 6 packs at our greenhouse here locally. And so I've got this really pretty purple one, and this is called Evening Sensation. And it just kind of glows. I don't know if the camera will show you the real color or not. So I've got the Evening Sensation wave petunias. I also have the pink spreading petunia, and this one just has got a few blooms. Now whenever you go to get your plants from a greenhouse, you know, it's always tempting to buy the ones that are in full bloom and look really pretty and really big, but really this would be the healthiest plant to get to put in your garden because it hasn't overgrown its pot yet. It's in good shape. The roots are not bound yet. They haven't had to trim back anything. So look for plants that are not quite ready to bloom or have blooms or buds on them but not actually in full bloom, because you're going to have to cut those off anyway when you plant them. So again, there's another spreading wave petunia. Now, and here's like I was just telling you, I didn't want to buy one that was in full bloom, and this plant right here looks really healthy. There's 6 of them in here, and this one is the Easy Wave Neon Rose, and I don't know if the camera can show this, and if not I can put a picture of it in the camera up there, but it's a really pretty hot pink. And again, here's another one that's in really good shape. It's not blooming yet either. It is the Easy Wave Coral, kind of a coral pink color. And again, I'll try to put a picture up in the corner so you can see that. So those are my wave petunias, and since we're talking about flowers, I'll go ahead and finish what I've got as far as flowers. I love Snapdragons. And for something tall, like in the middle of a pot, Snapdragons are the way to go. And these are Speedy Sonnet Yellow, and I'll tell you a little bit about them. These get to be 18 to 24 inches tall and need to be spaced 8 to 10 inches. So these are going to get nice and tall, and it's a really bright yellow bloom when they're all in bloom. So, Snapdragons. Another plant that is a great container plant for the center because it's a spike is the Victoria Blue Salvia. And these plants are just starting up. They're in good shape. This one takes sun to part shade, and it gets 16 to 20 inches long. And I think I'm going to be putting this in 2 of my pots that go around the steps in one of our back doors. And I've got 2 packs of those to make a real statement in the middle of the pots. But blue salvia is really easy to grow, and a lot of times it will overwinter and come back or self-seed. So that will be like the middle of the pot arrangement. And then I thought, if you haven't tried the Verbina plants, they are beautiful. Let's see what I've got. I thought a red Verbina would be a really pretty going would be a really pretty plant to put around the salvia. It will stay low and it just fills the pot and hangs over, and it's really beautiful. In fact, when I was buying these, you can see that the plants want to root at each of their leaf intersections there, and so when they went to another pot, a lot of times they were stuck together, and so one of them I had to kind of pull apart here. Let's see, this one, that one was red, and I think this one is also red. These were the 2 that were stuck together. And then I thought a white would be pretty with them too. So here is a Verbena white. And a white for the other one. I thought that would be really pretty together. And then a great filler for any kind of box or planter is the crystal white Alysum, and it smells really good too. But these go sun to part shade and are great to put in pots just to fill it, especially in the beginning when there's not a lot of plant growth yet. But they are really pretty, and they can get nice and big and puffy. So I got a couple of those. These were 4 packs. So those will help fill out some of my pots that need to be filled. And then in the front of my house, I believe I have 4 big pots, and each one has a trellis in the middle. And it's hard to find a good vining plant. Morning glories are good, but they're really awful for farmers and getting in the garden. The seeds really spread and get into crops, so they can be a nuisance. So I try to stay away from those. But these Suzy, what are they called? Suzy Orange with Black-Eyed Susan vine, I thought would be pretty. These grow really, really well, and they just become huge, especially when you've got them in full sun. 5 to 8 feet tall. So these will go in 2 of those pots with the trellises. And either I'll get 2 more, or I'll keep looking to see if I can find another neat vine. Moonflowers are what I had last year, and I might do moonflowers again. They don't spread like the morning glories. We have the cardinal vine that comes up all on its own, and it gets to become a nuisance, but I could always take and transplant some of the cardinal vine that's coming up, volunteer, and put it in there, and that would be pretty too. But I'll keep looking to see what else is out there. So that's the flowers that I got so far, but don't worry, there'll be lots more, I'm sure, when it warms up a little bit more. This year I'm a little concerned because we have a puppy that we got at the beginning of the year, and he really likes to dig, and he dug out all of the dirt in my pots that I had setting out this winter. So I'm hoping that stage is gone. Otherwise we might have to put like a hot wire so that he can't get to them, but hopefully he's past that stage. Okay, so we've got the flowers finished. Let me scoop these out of our way, and I'll talk a little bit about my herbs. All right, some of the herbs that I just can't live without. And a lot of these I plant by seed, but just in case, my ones that I throw seeds out in the garden, if they don't germinate or if they don't do too well and there's not too many of them, I like to have some in pots as well. And this is the plain Italian parsley. It's the flat leaf parsley, and it's the parsley that's really the one that is preferred for the culinary uses, for mixing in to your food. I also have the curly parsley, and it is great for decoration, but I also use it for the culinary inside the foods too. But this one I think is the one that's recommended from what I understand, and I think this one does have a little better and more flavor to it. So I got several things of parsley. I'll be planting those in pots. I've got some oregano. You can't have a herb garden without oregano. I like to use it fresh, and I also like to dry it and then grind it up and use it throughout the year as a dried spice, and it's really easy to do. But this is just regular oregano, and it smells really good. Okay, oregano. I noticed my chives that I've had for very long, since we had a really cold winter. We had a really cold spell. I don't even remember if it's in January or February, where we had sub-zero temperatures for quite some time. And up here in northern Missouri, it's not really common to have sub-zero temperatures for long lengths of time, and it was really, really low temperatures. And the plants were already a little bit, I guess, strained, or they were already kind of holding in there because we had a really dry summer and fall. And so I think between the cold and the dry weather, some of my plants and shrubs really had a hard time making it through the summer or the winter. And so as things are coming out, I'm noticing we're going to have to cut back some shrubs because it really took care of several shrubs. But we see the new growth at the bottom, and that's great because trimming them up and letting them start again will be good for them too. But one of them was my chives. It really thinned out my chives. I have a pot that has chives in it and just have a few little scant pieces here and there. So I thought I'd better get some more to get started to grow, because they will overwinter here. I also picked up some rosemary. I had overwintered a plant the year before last, and it was nice, but it was getting pretty woody, so I just let it die off outside this year. But here's some starts to them, and these will be growing well in no time. And love this herb. Again, I dry it and then I grind it and keep it throughout the year. So great herb to have on your shelf. Now, a fun one to grow is this one right here, and this is Stevia. It's the sweet leaves. It's what we buy for sweetener for our tea and stuff, but this is the natural plant. This is where Stevia comes from, and this actually gets to be a really big plant. And you can take the leaves, you can dry them, you can grind them up and add them to things for a sweetening agent, and like in tea and stuff. I haven't cooked with it or anything, but it's just kind of fun to have. The leaves are very sweet. You can bite into them. I know when my boys used to be little, it was always fun to go around and smell the herbs and taste the herbs with them, because they were always surprised that the leaves had different flavors. So if you have kids and you have herbs in the garden, take them out and let them enjoy it too. And the last herb that I purchased here that I have today is purple basil, and it's just something that's fun to use. It's a little different than the green. They taste the same, but it's neat to put this in your food and see a little difference in color, especially fresh pasta salads and things like that. I will be planting in my garden a bunch of basil by seed. It comes up really, really easy by scattering. Parsley, I'll do parsley, basil, dill, cilantro. All of those I will scatter in my garden and just grow that in bulk. But I like to get a few of the plants just to put in pots next to the door, because that way it's easy to grab something when I'm cooking. And then when I need to harvest stuff to freeze and to put away, it's great to have it in the garden in larger quantities. Alright, so the last thing we have are the vegetables that I bought today. And I bought two kinds of vegetables today, and that is peppers and tomatoes. So we of course plant most of our vegetables by seed directly into the garden, but and we've already got beans, we've got corn, we've got lettuce. Those seeds are planted. We'll be doing beans and corn, kind of stagger them. I think we're going to do some more corn this weekend. And we do different varieties of beans, and we'll talk more about that when the time comes. We also put out some cabbage plants earlier, and onion or not onion bulbs, but the onion plants, and we purchased those. I'm starting my sweet potatoes by a sweet potato we had from last year, and we really like this white sweet potato. It's orange on the outside, but it's white meat. My husband doesn't like regular sweet potatoes, and this white sweet potato has a really sweet flavor, but it doesn't have the same texture that regular sweet potatoes have. It's not as stringy. It's got the texture of a regular potato, but it looks just like a sweet potato and it tastes like one. It's just the texture's a little different. So I've been starting those from my leftover sweet potatoes for the last couple of years, and we've been planting those. We put out some more strawberries this year. We only have a few that we kept from last year because the plants were getting older and starting to get quite a few weeds, so we tilled up our strawberry patches and we'll replant other things there. I'll be putting zucchini out later. I don't know if I'll be doing pumpkin or cantaloupe this year. That's something I'll think about, but as we get closer to planting it, I will bring you along and we'll check that out. But let's take a look at our peppers that I chose this year. So last year I planted a lot of peppers from seed, just some different kinds that you can't find at the greenhouses. And I've got plenty of frozen, and I wanted to make some chili powders and stuff like that. So I've got plenty of that left over from last year. So this year I'm just kind of going back to the basic ones that we really like, that we eat. And of course, sweet banana peppers. We love these because they are one of the first ones to start putting on sweet peppers. And so when we need a fresh sweet potato, or I'm sorry, a fresh sweet pepper, we just go out in the garden and they're already putting on the peppers early in the season. Another one that I found that I thought would be a great one, and it's an early one too. In fact, let's see, let me find it here. This might be it. Yeah, this one right here, and it's got blooms on it already, which normally I don't buy plants with blooms, but they all had them because it's an early pepper. This one's called the snackable red pepper, and it says it takes 55 to 75 days. So if that's the case, and we put, you know, it's already putting peppers on, you know, we'll be having peppers end of, gosh, in the middle of June sometime. So that's great. Another one that I have is the sweet bell peppers, and these are giant ones. They're Goliath. And those are always good. I like to have a plain sweet pepper, red or green. You can harvest them as green, or you can wait till they ripen up and harvest them as red. So it's nice to have a basic one. And this is one of the ones that I was telling you about. I cook with it a lot. The chili pie pepper. I had planted mine by seed, and 2 years ago, and really liked it. And they had never had carried it at the greenhouse, but this year they have it. So I'm getting low on my chili pie pepper seasoning that I grind up. And so I got a couple plants so I can make some more. And this one has blooms already on it too. It says, does it have a day? 65 to 70 days, which is pretty regular, I think. Maybe a little shorter than some. It says it's a heavy producer of mini bell fruit that matures from green to red. Mildly hot when ripe. Adds a mild flavor to homemade salsa or chili. Idea for small space gardens, about 16 times milder than a jalapeno. And it does, like it says, keep well watered, so this one likes water. But the ones that we grew a couple years ago, no problem growing it. They did real well, so I was glad to see these. Another one of our favorites, the giant Marconi. And these are great big red peppers. You can also eat them in the green stage, and I think I was sharing on one of my recipes the other day that I was making that these really usually come on strong in the late fall. They are green and growing throughout the summer, and you get one or two that turn red, but up here, once it gets into fall, they really start producing. And when it gets ready to frost, you know, you're like, oh, I've got so many of those green Marconis still on the plant, but you have to pick them. If there's any bit of red, or it looks like it's starting to change colors, if you bring them in and set them on the counter, they will ripen up on their own and turn red, and so you can do that. But we love to freeze these. I cut them in strips and freeze them for fajitas and stir fries. Great taste. They're smoky flavored peppers that mature rapidly from green to red. A delicious addition to homemade pizzas and subs. So these are really good. Really love these. This one right here is called a Red Knight, a sweet red pepper. Not sure if that's picking it up or not. They're early maturing as well, and they are sweet. Let's see how many days. This is a 66-day one, so it will mature early too, so that's good. It's one thing to think about in your garden when you're planting, to try to stage out your different ripenings of different types of your vegetables. So we, like I said, we plant our corn in different stages, so we have it throughout the summer. We plant our beans in stages, like every couple weeks in the spring, so that we have those throughout the summer. Buying corn that has an early ripening and corn that has a later ripening is also beneficial. I think this year we got a really early ripening corn. That means we might be having some corn at the end of June, which would be really good up here. We'll see if that works. Another one is, this is a Bananarama sweet banana pepper, and I believe this is a big one. I think it's just a large one. Bananarama. This one is a Serrano Del Sol, and it's a hot pepper, but I believe it's milder than a jalapeno. I think I was reading. It matures in 64 to 67 days. It says produces high yields of tapered, spicy fruit with a unique flavor. It seems like we've had these before and we liked them. Pick those up. And let's see. Our last pepper, we got the jalapeno big guy, and it's just a large jalapeno. A lot of times we'll plant some hotter varieties. I've got quite a few dried and in the freezer, so if I need a hotter variety to make my salsas with, I've already got them, since we're trying to kind of scale down our garden size a little bit so it's not too overwhelming. It looks like these will probably be what we get. If we do get some more, we'll probably add some hotter varieties, but we really like the sweeter ones better anyway. And the last thing is tomatoes, and tomatoes are one of our have to have in the garden crops, because I make tons of spaghetti sauce, salsa, taco sauce, ketchup, barbecue sauce. I can crushed tomatoes, you name it, we make it. Paste, I make tomato paste, just plain tomato sauce, but it's a great thing to have on the counter, and we go through a lot of it during the year. And so one of the things I always look for is to make sure I get plenty of paste type tomatoes, and this one right here is a paste tomato called tomate I'm not even going to say it. It's a fresh salsa tomato, paste tomato, but it has a plum-shaped fruit that's just a regular size small paste tomato. Then I've got a get my plum. Then I've got a paste tomato called Super Sauce, and this one I really like. We love these. These are huge romas. They're very meaty. They can get up to be 2 pounds each. So you can make a lot of paste with a few tomatoes with this Super Sauce. It's called Super Sauce paste tomato. Okay. Then I think I have one more sauce. Those two are the paste ones. I think I have one more. Let me find it. Yeah, this one right here. This one's called Big Mama, and it's another large paste tomato. And this one gets incredibly meaty 5 inches by 3 inch fruits, so they get to be a large fruit too, but not quite as large as the other one. So those are my paste tomatoes. We may add extras, we'll see. These are what we're starting off with, and we'll see if we have extra space in the garden. Then we like tomatoes that are good slicers. Here's a beef steak. Some of these I need to get watered. Here is a steak sandwich tomato. It's a burpee. This is already blooming. Wow. This one is an old German, and this is an old variety, an heirloom variety. It says a Mennonite heirloom that produces yellow fruit with streaks of red. 75 days to maturity. So those heirloom tomatoes are really so tasty. Really like those. They aren't as disease resistant and stuff like that, but they really are good flavors. We do not use chemicals in our garden. We don't use regular fertilizers or anything like that. We just use the composted straw and manure from our sheep. We add that every year in piles to our garden, and that's what our garden gets by on. If it looks like something is not getting enough, we add a few more scoops of that to side dress them, and we've never had any problems or troubles. We try to plant more than what we need so that if we do have some sort of problem with a pest, that, you know, we can still salvage enough for ourselves. But so far we've never had any trouble, and we really like not having anything on our vegetables and things we eat. This one right here is the big beef tomato, and normally in this one I need to put water in. It's dry, it's wilting. Normally I don't pick these really big plants like this, but what I'll do is I'll pull these lower stems off, and I'll probably put them in dirt up to about here, and that way they'll have a really good root system develop and they won't be breaking in the wind. Otherwise they'll break off in the wind. But I think they were only down to these tall ones that were that variety. And I think my last one is Anna Russian, and it's a pink tomato. And let's see what it says. It says firm, meaty fruit, grow throughout the summer, excellent for cooking, canning, or slicing. So that should be a good one. So we got that. I didn't get any yellow or orange ones this year. Usually I have a yellow or orange, but it may be that we will get a few more once we get these planted to see how much space we still have. But this is what we are going to start with, and then we'll fill in if we need to. Bring my... So, this is my first trip to the greenhouse this year, and I've got a lot of work to do, it looks like, but I love doing it. We'll take you out to our garden here in another video and kind of show you how we grow things. I spend so much time producing or canning the produce and preserving it and harvesting it, and keeping it watered and stuff like that, that I really don't have a lot of time for weeding and doing things that are finicky with the garden. And we do have a big garden. We have actually several spots for gardens. So we have found that using hay, old hay, and mulching it really high works, and we'll talk about that when we bring you back sometime to give you a tour of our garden before everything's planted, or once we get stuff in, so we can show you kind of what we've got set up for this year. Every year we move things around since it's better for the soil and the plants. But we do grow a lot of food and we enjoy it, but we don't make it so it's a burden and we overwork. We want to make sure it's something we enjoy doing, and we do. So I will bring you back once we get things planted in another video and give you a tour of what we have. I hope you have a great week, and if you don't mind, share and like and subscribe to my videos. Any of that helps. That way more people will find us, and maybe we can help others with their gardens and cooking and all the things that we love to do on our farm. So I hope you have a great day. Enjoy, get outside, get some exercise, fresh air. It's so good for you. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.